In 1842, China signs a truly painful agreement, the Treaty of Nanking. It was just a signature and a seal on a piece of paper, but with that, a chunk of the nation's seas was sliced clean off. And in one corner of those waters, a rocky island no one had ever paid much attention to was handed over to Britain. Yes, Hong Kong. To be honest, at first, Hong Kong was nothing special. It wasn't a major military stronghold, a strategic hub, not even close. From the Qing dynasty's perspective, it was basically, we've already lost enough. What's one more gravel island? And they tossed it aside. But this was Britain we're talking about. The god of commerce. They took this seemingly useless rock and turned it into a gateway to a new world. As soon as the Opium War ended, Britain set up a relay station here. Trade with mainland China, finance, information, everything ran through Hong Kong. In effect, Hong Kong became a massive financial laboratory of the empire. Taxes were pushed to the floor. The legal system was kept simple. Foreign capital was protected, no questions asked. On this tiny port, a gigantic experiment called capitalism began. Britain ruled the island very cleverly. They mixed freedom and control with surgical precision. The law and the courts, British style, transparent and predictable. The press and education, left largely free. But there was one thing they locked down completely: politics, voting rights, self-governance. For Hong Kong residents, those were fairy tales. What's interesting is that people didn't really resent Britain. Why? Because the money-making order Britain brought was far sweeter than the chaos back in the mainland. In short, Hong Kong became a city where you can speak freely as long as you pretend politics doesn't exist. And in return, you get wealth. But that kind of non-political freedom eventually came back as a brutal boomerang. From the 1,950 seconds through the 1,970 seconds, the world was loud with Cold War tensions. But Hong Kong slipped perfectly into the cracks. China turned communist. And suddenly, wealthy elites and talented people from the mainland poured into Hong Kong, looking for a way out. Britain saw the opportunity and flung the gates wide open. And the result? Alongside Singapore, Hong Kong rose as one of the 4 Asian tigers. Skyscrapers pierced the sky. Banks and stock markets exploded with money. 10 million people packed onto a tiny island. People called it prosperity inside a chicken cage. But hey, if the cage lays golden eggs, maybe it's fine. Still, where there's strong light, shadows grow darker. Housing prices went insane. The wealth gap widened. And beneath the neon lights, inequality grew like poisonous mushrooms. By the 1,980 seconds, an identity crisis began to surface. Who are we really? Chinese or Hong Kongers? In schools, students learned British history. The press spoke freely. English and Cantonese blended into daily life. To young people, Hong Kong felt closer to the world than to mainland China. But China was never going to stay quiet. Tick, tock, the clock of reclamation began to move. Deng Xiaoping made it crystal clear. Hong Kong is originally ours. In 1997, we take it back. No exceptions. That single sentence shook Hong Kong to its core. For people who had breathed freedom their entire lives, return to China didn't mean moving house. It meant surrendering freedom. In 1984, Britain and China signed the deal, the Sino-British Joint Declaration. On paper, it sounded reassuring. Return in 1997. Maintain the current system for 50 years. This was the birth of one country, two systems. But Hong Kong people weren't fools. They didn't buy it. China will protect freedom? Yeah, right. Fear turned into an escape rush. In the early 1,990 seconds alone, hundreds of thousands packed their bags for Canada and Australia. As they left, many said the same thing. We might come back someday, but probably not. Those who stayed held the city together. On the surface, Hong Kong still sparkled as a global financial heart. But beneath the lights, a massive shadow of anxiety loomed. 1,997 didn't stop the clock. People thought Hong Kong's freedom ended then, but it didn't end. It was postponed. The promise didn't protect freedom. It extended control. July 1st, 1,997. Fireworks exploded over Victoria Harbor. Thousands looked up and shouted, "Goodbye, Britain." The Union Jack came down. The 5-star red flag went up. Some cried, saying, "At last, independence." Others sighed, whispering, "This is the end." A perfect moment of irony. China reassured everyone. One country, two systems. Nothing changes for 50 years, but the real meaning was different. We won't change it outright. We'll change it slowly. One country, two systems. Once you break it down, you see how sharp Deng Xiaoping's calculations were. One country, two systems. Sounds generous, but his real message was simple. Hong Kong, you make the money. Just don't get any ideas. Politics stayed in Beijing's hands. The economy was allowed to run. Britain's legal system, press, and markets remained on the surface. But China began adding seasoning. A spoon of patriotism education, 2 spoons of central directives. The court stayed, but judges changed. Schools stayed, but textbooks gained praise for the motherland. The scariest part? Nothing changed all at once. If it had, people would have resisted. Instead, it happened bit by bit. Freedom wasn't taken. It evaporated. In the early 2000s, Hong Kong's youth began to change. They had no memory of British rule, but they were told to raise the Chinese flag in school. Patriotic slogans filled the subway. Instinctively, they pushed back. We're not Chinese. We're Hong Kongers. From that point on, Hong Kongers stopped being just a place of residence. It became a political declaration. In 2003, things finally exploded. The government tried to push through a national security law, a clear attempt at ideological screening, and 500,000 people flooded the streets, the largest protest in Hong Kong's history. The message was clear. Freedom isn't free. We have to defend it. The bill was withdrawn. It felt like a victory. But Beijing was watching closely. Oh, interesting. Next time, we won't be so kind. That moment was the trailer for a much bigger tragedy. Hong Kong's economy kept growing. Chinese money poured in. Tourists flooded the streets, but nothing comes free. When advertisers are Chinese corporations, how honest can the media really be? The city glittered on the outside, but freedom was rotting inside. Then came 2014. Beijing crossed the line. You can vote for the chief executive, but only among candidates we approve. A choice with no choice. Young people snapped. They grabbed umbrellas. They ran into tear gas. Give us real elections. This was the umbrella movement. Hong Kong's freedom was put on trial. Under those umbrellas, people woke up, but reality showed no mercy. The movement failed. The streets were cleared. The umbrellas folded. People went home defeated, but they carried embers inside. Just wait. We'll be back. 4 years later, in 2018, a crime in Taiwan ignited the city. The extradition bill, the Fugitive Offenders Ordinance. It sounded reasonable. Send criminals back. Back to where? Mainland China. Hong Kong people sensed it immediately. This isn't a law, it's a shackle. The fear was simple. Today, it's my neighbor. Tomorrow, it's me. In 2019, 1 million people poured into the streets, 1/7 of the population. This time, no umbrellas, helmets, masks, and a new strategy. Be water. 3 times of covers. No leaders. No center. Scatter when police arrive. Flow back when they leave. Flexible and terrifying. 5 demands. Withdraw the bill. Stop calling us rioters. The response? Tear gas. Water cannons. The city turned into a battlefield. Subway stations stained with blood. Young people sent to prison. The bill was withdrawn, but it was already too late. People realized the truth. This isn't about one law. The system itself is the prison. Then came 2020, the final boss, the national security law. Secession, subversion, terrorism, collusion with foreign forces. The charges were grand. The definitions were empty. Criticize the government? Subversion. Talk to foreign media? Collusion. Yesterday's freedom became today's crime. The consequences were brutal. Independent media shut down. Textbooks erased democracy and added patriotism. Street protests vanished. Cameras replaced banners. Silence replaced chants. People joked bitterly. We don't know who's watching, so we watch each other. A massive digital chicken cage. That is Hong Kong today. On the surface, everything looks fine. Finance still runs. The skyline is stunning, but it's prosperity without a soul. Freedom is gone. Money keeps flowing. Exactly the picture China wanted. A well-behaved, profitable Shanghai too. Children no longer learn about the umbrella movement. They learn that Hong Kong has always been China. Erase memory, and control is complete. But Hong Kong isn't dead. It's scattered. In London, in Vancouver, small Hong Kongs are forming. Bodies left, but the memory of freedom remains. So here's the conclusion. Hong Kong didn't fail. The world abandoned it. Freedom doesn't always die to guns and tanks. Sometimes, it suffocates quietly, under the sweet excuse of stability, in that silent street in Hong Kong today. Isn't it a warning to all of us?